Hey Ted,
Yes, Alex?
let me tell you about MMOs because I'm still not done bitching about them.
All right, hold on 1 second. Okay, there we go. Alex, if you check on Discord, I just sent you Fudge Bob Piss Pants about seven, or let's make that, hold on, 8 times.
Oh yeah? Well, I sent you a gif of Shuckle rotating.
No, you didn't.
Shut the fuck up. Listen. All right, chat. I was bitching about MMOs for like 40 minutes to an hour. Ted may or may not have cut some bits out of it, and then he was kind of interested in just hearing me bitch and moan about MMOs more. He wanted seconds, and so we just got turned into like a whole episode, I guess. So
Yeah,
Ted,
the concept that I was thinking is my experience with MMOs as an entire like whole is just RuneScape. And I didn't realize that I lucked out and I was playing the literal only good one.
now listen. You are literally Jimmy. Now, Ted doesn't really understand
Actually,
that
I'm
back in
Tad.
the day. Shut the fuck up. Listen. Dad, you don't understand that you've essentially missed out. Like, when did you start playing RuneScape? Remind me, when did you start?
All right. So I started playing RuneScape. So when I was growing up, my house, the one that got destroyed, did not have air conditioning, and it was summer and it was hot. You know what did have air conditioning? The public library. So I would walk or ride my bike there, and from opening to close, I would sit on the kid's computer and play RuneScape for like 9 hours straight until the librarian started kicking me and my brother off and forced us to go read books. So I would go read Naruto manga.
But like, what was it, like 2006, 7, 4? Like,
Probably, let's see, I started high school in 2008, so probably like 2000. Actually, hold on a second. I know the exact time I started playing. Hold on. Because RuneScape Easter Ring. Because I remember I started playing around Easter, and the Easter ring was from 2006. So I would have been playing then. I would have played fucking 18 years ago. No, hold on. Yeah, 18 years ago. Because it's 2024.
you don't understand is you really did luck out when you played RuneScape because there is a graveyard, a fucking mausoleum of every MMO that like tried to copy WoW, but there's not a lot of games that tried to copy RuneScape. So RuneScape's actually kind of fortunate that it's still alive and it's just like the only game like it. Because like you've got like nowadays you've got Final Fantasy 14 and WoW. You still got Eve. I think Star Wars Old Republic is still active. You have EverQuest Online. You have Lost Ark, Lord of the Ring Online, which I guess is still fucking active. I'm pretty sure that shut down recently. Yeah, then there's just Guild Wars 2 and Elder Scrolls Online. There's like 10 MMOs out there that are like sub to play, right? That's not a lot. But back in the day, and I remember because I grew up playing WoW, and I was like, WoW is cool, but are there other games like it? And I would check out just other games with free to play and not free to play.
Just
and
like, man, I really want to be anywhere except here right now. What other MMOs exist?
Yes, pretty much. But like, I just want to see like, what other games? Like, you like a shooter? What other shooters are there? I like an MMO. What other MMOs are there? Well, there's a lot of games such as Asheron's Call, Wildstar, Warhammer Online, Age of Fuck, Star Wars Galaxies, Vanguard, Saga of Heroes, City of Heroes, City of Villains, World of Warcraft again, Marvel Heroes 2016,
Goddamn.
Darkfall on Holy Wars, Darkfall, Club Penguin, Dark Age of Camelot, Survival Project, The Pirates of the Caribbean online MMO browser experience. I actually played that. I actually played that one too. That game kind of kicked ass.
It had no swear filter. That's all I remember. Because me and my brothers just typed fuck and we were like, oh, you can do it.
Free Realms, Final Fantasy 11, Ultima Online, Ultima Online 2, Ultima Online, The Quest for Ultima, EverQuest, EverQuest 2, Wizard 101, which shut down recently, Scions of Fate, Realm of the Mad Gone, The Matrix Online from 2005, Tarot, which I have the collector's edition of, Battlestar Galactica Online, EverQuest Landmark, which is a different title apparently, Plane Shift, The Legends of Mir 3, The Legends of Mir 2, The Sword of Legends Online, and Dead Frontier. And that's still not all of them. That's just what I could quickly scrounge up on Google. You cannot actually comprehend how many games were trying to rip off of World of Warcraft. So, like, you're probably thinking, why? Why was WoW so popular back in the day? Why did people like me play it so much? Why was there a little Tad at his public library playing RuneScape for 9 hours a day? Well, I was doing a lot of research about this. And because Ted wanted me to talk more about like the nitty gritty stuff rather than just like the vibes of this thing. He wanted to really know like what is it about an MMO that really makes it special. And it's a series of a lot of things all together. There's no one thing. You can't just be like, we have the best combat ever, so we're the best MMO. No one really cares, right? Like, World of Warcraft and RuneScape aren't winning gameplay awards anytime soon, Tad. Especially like nowadays, right? They're super old and very crusty. But there's more to it that brings them in. You go and you start your game, and I'm going to use WoW as an example just because that's the one I played the most, even though I played a lot of these. You pick your character, you make your class in WoW and shit, you get this nice intro, and I mentioned this in the rant when we were doing like our live stream and shit, so I won't revisit it too much, but when it comes to an MMO, it is a combination of both the size and scale of the world, the other people, the overall aesthetics and ambience, which is very important, which I only figured that out one later, and the overall story that the quests are telling you. And that's kind of a broad one. I want to get into that because that's kind of where RuneScape shines. Because I tried playing RuneScape as a kid, and as a teenager, and as an adult, and I think RuneScape is really fucking boring. However, I think RuneScape is really funny. RuneScape is really, really charming. Because, like, you hop in, you see, you know, the skeleton and the Roman guy, you pick your fucking character, you pick Bob RuneScape, and you fuck around, right?
Actually, those characters, I believe they are Bob and Scrunchy? Hold on, they have names.
They have names.
RuneScape.
Name a more iconic
Bob
duo.
And Crunchy. What is it? Yeah, okay, Crunchy. I'm sorry, it's Tim and Crunchy. Which one is Crunchy and which one is Tim? We do not know. I'm sorry, hold on. Here's Crunchy as seen on the cover of RuneScape, the original Classics vinyl limited edition release. I'll send that, and then I'll also send you another Fudge Bob Piss Pants for good measure on Discord.
I would assume Crunchy would be the skeleton because he's on the low detail, because he is crunchy, because he is pixelated.
Yep. You can play RuneScape on the fucking Nintendo Wii, as I have proved to everyone. You can do it. I did it. I felt powerful. As a child, I thought that was the coolest thing on earth. And as an adult, it's alright. Whatever. I mean, I guess. It filled that hole for about 10 minutes.
So, like, well, because that's not RuneScape. That's not old school. That's like original RuneScape, isn't it?
Yeah. That was like RuneScape 2.
Yeah. Like, the RuneScape I played was old school, but I never played 3 or like the original fucking crusty ass shit. I'm not that much of an OG, unfortunately. But I didn't like it nearly as much as I liked WoW. And why was that? Well, RuneScape is really good at capturing a specific vibe. The music that it hits you with is iconic for a reason. It really captures just crawling around in this shitty little fantasy world and doing incredibly silly quests. Because RuneScape's aesthetic is it's kind of silly. You'll have a wizard who specifically has a really big hat with like stars on it and shit, right? They're going for the full cartoony vibe. WoW is also relatively cartoony, but trying to be like a cool vibe of it. Like it'll have this really big bulbousy orc with an underbite, but he's also like jacked and has like a battle axe. You know what I mean? Like he's silly, but he's still kind of like he's cool and gritty. And so I kind of vibe. Part
of RuneScape is Britain in the 80s and 90s. They had earlier access to the internet than the United States did. So they would have like these, text-based dungeon crawlers. And they had like this bit tune. I don't know if I forget the actual name of it, but there is a specific style of music for like these fantasy dungeon crawler wizardry style games people would have. Like they would share stuff on bulletin boards and all sorts of shit. If you get a chance, look it up. The Britain had a lot of interesting shit happening in the 80s with their computers because they got it way before us. And that's where a lot of RuneScape style came from because it didn't just pop out of nowhere. A lot of it was people like these multi-user dungeons, and so they would kind of incorporate some of that. Don't look up what happened to Ian Taylor, the guy who made RuneScape's music. Don't do that.
I was just about to post some of the music to you as an example, because RuneScape is actually really good at capturing the vibes I mentioned. Where like even me, who like I couldn't get into it, right? I tried it, I did a bunch of quests. I don't remember what combat level I was. I never really got that far. I would just get bored, right?
Mhm.
The recent time I played was I was annoyed at Elsword back in the day, right? I was annoyed that the game was not like as cool as it used to be, and it was. I mean, it's always been kind of bad, but like it used to be a little better, you know. And I was just kind of annoyed, so I stopped playing that. And I jokingly just said, you know what? Fuck it. I at my friends who all play RuneScape, and I'm like, I'm installing RuneScape. Fuck this shit, because there's a RuneScape like launcher you can put on as an application, Rune Light or whatever. And they're like, no fucking shot. So I get on, take a screenshot of myself in fucking Lumpy with all the goblins, and I'm like, fucking try me. So I'm fucking around in RuneScape, and I'm trying. I'm not like a little kid who's a little spaz. I am genuinely trying to play RuneScape. And even I'm like, damn, I kind of get one bit of it. And that's like listening to this song specifically, which is Autumn Voyage. This song just really sticks in my mind when I think of RuneScape. Just run around like the shitty fucking woods fighting random fucking goblins or picking potatoes and stealing them like a murder hobo.
Killing a level 2 spider that when you examine it says, this spider has been genetically modified. Nothing else in the game says that. I don't know. Random shit like the RuneScape lets you right click and examine everything in the game. And that's something every other MMO on Earth has not realized is really good. Because you could put so many little goofs and little like silly shit into your game that's not intrusive that way. I don't know why they never stole that.
Because it's from old RPGs where you could examine shit that were in like a top-down perspective. Like Baldur's Gate does it, right? All the isometric RPGs do that shit. So like with RuneScape, when I was running around, I was just like, yeah, like it's cool, but like all I'm doing, like I'm just getting my numbers up because I read my quest text and I'm not getting immersed into the world of RuneScapia, whatever the fuck it's called. Because like
it's Galenor.
Galenor, yeah, like what is the story of RuneScape? What is its world? What is its lore? I'm sure it has some, but like doing the quests, because the quests are more focused on being silly, I never really got a chance to really get into it.
Here's an interesting thing about that. So as a kid, there kind of isn't a main quest in RuneScape. Like your character exists in the world and he can run around and do shit. And there isn't really like World of Warcraft, you have the Alliance and the Horde and they're fighting over some nonsense. In RuneScape, there's really nothing like that. Like as you get further in, there are like certain quest lines that will start and continue. RuneScape 3 tried to, which is like the, modern, I guess, retail RuneScape, tried to do that. And they fucked up hard because they did a couple things that really fucked up and really hurt the game. The first was they changed the combat to emulate World of Warcraft, and people did not like that. The second thing they did, there's different ages in RuneScape. The first age is when the world was made. The second age is something, I forget which. The third age, there was like the gods were fighting. And the fourth age is where you play, where all those gods are gone and you're just a dude. And you only find that out like if you really dig for it, because otherwise you just exist in the world.
Yeah.
What RuneScape 3 did that was a really bad idea is they had the fifth age where all of a sudden your character was chosen by the gods and he's a super powerful ultra mega and people are like, I don't want that. I don't want to be special. I just want to be a guy. I just wanted to be I just wanted to be a weirdo who does shit.
Is that Jakeroo?
So old school RuneScape so far has been like, yeah, we're not going to do that, because they basically got a second chance at the same game, because it is the same game. They took a screenshot of it from 2007 and went, okay, we're going to try again, guys, and then have, evolved it from there. But because of that, there is no like main quest. All that happens in RuneScape is what you choose to do. And as a kid, I thought that's how every MMO was. I thought they plopped you in a world and gave you a billion tools and said, here's your cow tools, go at it.
That depends, because like vanilla WoW was like that, and a lot of the old games used to be sandbox MMOs where if they had quests, they were very few and far in between. Like Star Wars Galaxy is just there. Time to go fuck around and kill shit. There was very little to actually like do. Most of it was player generated when you just hung out with people. But speaking of player generated, I want to talk about something with RuneScape, where once again, this is more of what makes an MMO special. You see, when I was running around, I was killing those dwarves by that dwarven hill, like kind of like early on near Lumbridge, right? I was just killing them, just doing whatever. I'm not an efficiency escape player. I played RuneScape like once as a kid and didn't get too into it, right? So I'm killing dwarves. Some guy runs by me. He stops, looks at me. He's like, "Hey, are you new?" I'm like, "Yeah. Why? What's up?" He's like, "Hey, Because he immediately knew I was new because there's no reason to kill the dwarves, right? And level up your combat. There's other ways to do it. He's an efficiency scape guy. You can immediately tell.
I just say, by the way, how fucking funny it is that in RuneScape, you could just murder, like, men, women, dwarves, out sentient, living, breathing, like, creatures. You could just beat the fuck out of them. And it's not like they fall down and go, oh, I'm defeated. You kill them, and then you can bury their bones. It just doesn't matter. You could do anything. You're a fucking psycho. Is Jake trying to get in on this MMO action?
Sorry about that.
Dogs can't play anything on the internet. We'll all know that you're a dog, Jake. Don't try and trick me.
Yeah, he's just being a little bastard. But, like, yeah, you just murder hobo anybody. Even, like, WoW, there's, like, justifications of, like, oh, yeah, those are bandits, or, like, those are bad guys, or, like, monsters. In RuneScape, I will be in Lumbridge, and there will just be, man, level 2, walking down the street, and I can just beat the shit out of him and kill him.
Fucking... You can walk over, fucking AGS spec his ass, tell him to sit, rat. Go back to Lumbee.
Like, but when I was killing those innocent dwarves for no reason, the guy was like, oh, hey, are you new? So he asked me to follow him. I'm like, I'm not going to the wilderness, buddy. I'm not a fucking child. He's like, no. I'm not trying to fucking scam you, buddy. Your account is new. You have nothing I want anyway. Just come with me. Trust me. So I'm like, all right, fine, fuck it. So I follow this guy. He takes me to the fuck. Let me go get the RuneScape map open real fast.
He takes me to this ditch and he says, jump over it.
Yes. No. What's that town? That's not Lumbridge. The other town past like the farms.
Does it have white walls, or
yes.
does it have...
Yeah,
okay, so that's Falador.
Yeah, he takes me to Falador, and he takes me to the bank, and he's like, hey, look, if you're new, I got a lot of stuff, so here, just take all of this shit. He gives me 700,000 gold. He gives me a fuck ton of runes, and, like, a little staff. And he's like, all right, man, hope you enjoy the game. And then he leaves. Now, that was really, really nice of him. That was really, really cool. So I stopped playing the game about a week later because I got bored, though.
Ha! Did I ever tell you how I made my first mill in RuneScape?
No, how?
Okay, when you start RuneScape, it's hard to make money. Magic was always my favorite skill, but you have to use runes, a consumable resource. You have, like, fire, air, water, earth, blood, death, chaos, I don't know. There's a bunch of them. There's like 12 or 14 different types of runes. So as a new player, to level magic is kind of hard to do because it's expensive. So I would always be on the hunt for money, which, by the way, the way that those are consumable is fantastic. The RuneScape has a, like, accidentally, like, the most genius way to fight inflation ever, which is how its gold system works, but we'll talk about that later. Mm-hmm. But what I did to make my first money was someone was in one of the bars in Varrock where you could just buy a beer, and they were hosting a comedy night. And so I went in there, and I went up on stage, and I put on all the White Knight armor, and I said, White Knights dance like this. I did, like, the default little dance. And I changed to the Black Knight armor. I said, and Black Knights dance like this. And then I did, like, the fucking this is like the fucking Korean dance where he's, like, doing, like, the horse thing, and he's, like, putting his hand in the air.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Gangnam style.
Yeah.
And then I won 5 million gold. And my friend was so pissed because he had been slaving away, like, mining coal like an animal. And I walked up and I had, like, full, like, gold trimmed room armor, and I was just like, hey man, what's up? Oh man, you're poor? Damn, that's crazy.
Oh my god. Oh,
then another time I was in the Grand Exchange, and one guy was just being a dickhead to people. He was getting pissed that someone gave someone else a bunch of money. And so I walked over and I said, whatever, they can spend their money their own way. So a dude trades me, gives me another 5 mil, and then I trade that guy, show him the 5 mil I just got, and he fucking has a full melty. 5 mil's a lot, by the way.
Yeah,
that's a significant chunk of change.
Is it a significant chunk of change early game or late game? Because I know that game has inflated as fuck gold.
Kind of both. 5 mil is still significant. Like, end game RuneScape, most of your big upgrades will cost about 20 mil a piece. Or in real life dollars, like, I don't know, like $20, right? It's about $1 per mil. So it was enough to fund a lot of my superfluous garbage, because I kept buying outfits in RuneScape that I thought looked cool.
I remember when I took that money the guy gave me, I bought a tiki mask for like 10k, which is nothing. And then I just was running around fishing by Barbarian Village with a big tiki mask on for just fucking
Hell
around. So with RuneScape though, was while I didn't get into it, I definitely understood why it's popular. It has a really fun vibe. The quests are really funny. The one that I remember is my friend specifically told me how to do this one quest with this dwarf, where if you come at him with like a bunch of gear, he's gonna get you like a bunch of bronze against a bunch of fucking like rope, a bunch of bullshit, and it takes literally every single inventory slot in your inventory. But if you come to him with everything at once, he has unique dialogue where he's like, "You just happen to have everything I need, the exact quantities, all in your backpack space with the exact amount that your backpack can carry." Like, yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? Yeah, sure it is, buddy. Anyway, here's the next part of the quest, where the game just kind of shits on you for essentially looking up how to do it, which I thought was really cute. It's charming, but it still just didn't hit me the same way WoW did. But why does WoW hit me so well? I kind of mentioned it earlier, so I won't revisit this a little too much, but it is a combination of running around this giant world and exploring it. And in RuneScape, you kind of do it with a top-down perspective, and the world also looks, again, really silly. With World of Warcraft, it's still cartoony, but it's still like, there's this aspect of it that makes it feel relatively lived in. There's plenty of just random NPCs who serve no purpose other than to fill out a space and make them seem like citizens that live in a city. There are people walking around idly, there's merchants who sell random ass garbage gear and shit. There's just people everywhere. And as you slowly run around the world without a mount for a very long time, because you don't get your first mount in World of Warcraft until you're level 40. That's a lot. Like, you remember, the max level is 60. So it takes a long time of you just running your ass with the base movement speed in the world. Now, some classes have certain things, like the Shaman has the Ghost Wolf, where they can have a 40% speed boost, which is kind of like, the default mount is 60 for reference, so like you have like a mini mount at level 20 for a while, which is nice.
But it's like a traversal thing, where you can just kind of zoom around.
Yeah, and like Druids have travel form, Hunters have aspect of the cheetah, that's pretty much it. Everyone else is just stuck walking. Warlocks and Paladins get a free mount, but like they still wanted to do a quest line for it, and two, they don't get till 40 anyway, right? So like regardless, like you're running around WoW, like the world of Azeroth for a very long time, slowly going through this journey. It's about the quests, how they take you to various locations, and how they build the world. And this is what I like about WoW versus RuneScape's quests. But RuneScape's quests are all kind of cartoony, funny, and charming. World of Warcraft is like, here's how the world works and here's how the people live here. There's no main quest line in vanilla WoW. There is just quests that are about like the world in each area. Now, there will be like a big quest chain in a lot of areas, but that's kind of rare. It's usually only for like late game stuff. Like if for like attuning to a raid, that's a long quest line. Or like doing Link's quest from The Legend of Zelda, Link, the little gnome guy. He's got a long quest, but like for the most part, it's like just random shit. Like Hilsbrad has a 6 quest chain, which is called the Battle for Hilsbrad, where if you're a Horde player, you have to help the Forsaken take over the countryside, and you have to just go and do horrible fucking things like kill innocent farmers, more innocent farmers. Oh, all of the peons and peasants have tried rallying together to form a militia in the town hall, slaughter them for their foolishness. You have to then take poison and kill the farmer's dog. Then you have to go kill the miners. Again, not the guards, the miners, the guys who are just working there. Just murder them too. Then you have to go get a magical staff from a Yeti's cave, because there's this guy named Helcular. He was trying to become a lich, but he failed because the town of South Shore caught him, killed him, and then buried him on the side of the cemetery. Now, his apprentice, who's another Forsaken guy, he's like, my master would be the most displeased by this. Go find his rod, which the Yetis nearby stole, and charge it with the magical fires all across the mountainside from his altars, then stab the fucking staff into his gravestone and bring him back. He will seek vengeance on the town of South Shore. This is a really fun and iconic quest. Because you have to do the bullshit. Then you have to sneak into the town, which is an alliance town, by the way. There are level 40 guards, which you are like level 20. You have to sneak in there, right-click the grave, put it down, and when you do that, Helcular will say, I have returned. Now I seek my revenge. He's a level 44 elite undead who summons a bunch of skeletons, and he will start attacking the guards and random either players or NPCs in the town and killing them. It's really cool. It's one of like the most iconic quests in like vanilla. Like that feels
taking,
cool.
It's taking an MMO environment and having you interact with the environment, interact with towns, having you run around and do like quests like a real video game. Like you're running around and doing stuff. That's not killing boar asses.
Exactly. Well, the majority of the quests are like that, but there are some fun ones mixed between them. But what has changed from vanilla to today? And that's what you really wanted me to talk about, and that's what I'm going to get to now, 30 minutes in. So what's really changed is the overall questing structure. So let's take the Barrens. Let me go get you a World of Warcraft map real fast. WoW map Barrens.
While you're pulling that up, I'm going to take a guess at what I think it is.
Sure.
I imagine now every expansion will probably have one main quest line, and you do that, and every quest of it unlocks more content for the expansion. And you just do quest, and then there might be some small side quests where you go do something that doesn't really matter. Like it's not really that engaging. You just kind of do a thing, and you continue on the path until the end quest unlocks the final raid that has the big item that you're going to need if you're going to fight this raid 4,000 times.
Unfortunately, Tad, you're thinking way too hard. That would be way too much effort because that would actually lock people out of being able to use the group finder. Unfortunately, no, it's not that good.
Ugh.
It's worse. So here's the vanilla WoW map. This is the Barrens. It's a iconic area for the Horde. It's touted as the best worst area because this map is gigantic. This is the biggest map in the game. It's huge. And it goes all the way from level like 10 when you enter to above level 20. Like, there's level 26 enemies up down at the bottom down there.
Sludge Fen.
Yeah, the Sludge Fen. That is where the Venture Company, a goblin organization that hires a bunch of random, like, mooks and shit to just, like, deforest and, like, pollute everything. They're a bunch of, like, Captain Planet villains. They're real nasty motherfuckers. On top left is where, like, the Harpies are. Now, right there is the Crossroads, and then to the right is Ratchet. Now, the Crossroads is a Horde-aligned town, and that's where you're going to go, and you're going to spend a lot of time in the Crossroads when you're a Horde player. Then, you go down to Ratchet. That's a neutral town of goblins. And those guys, Alliance players can actually go there and do some quests too. Not that you would, because you have to go really far to get there, but you could. Now, you are going to go between these areas a lot, and here's what I like about Vanilla WoW. The places and towns have a bit of permeance to them. You see, the questing structure would be, say I go take a quest at the Crossroads, I need to go kill a bunch of centaurs that are hanging around, or I need to go kill a bunch of the quill boar. See that right there to the right, that little like spiky thorn coming out of that hillside? That's a fucking razor fen. That's where quill boar live, the big people. So the questing structure will have me, hey, go kill some raptors, zebra, and quill boar for me. And as I am walking down there, I'll see another guy along the road who will have a quest for me to then kill some more shit and get closer to Ratchet. Or another thing will happen. See the very road itself. What if I'm nearby that road? There's actually a merchant with his ogre bodyguard who walks between Crossroads and Ratchet every like hour or so, and you might see him and you're like, well, where the fuck is he going, or where is he from? He'll say, oh, I'm from Ratchet, just follow down the road. So the game will naturally push you towards this other location to then do even more quests around the area. Then you go to Ratchet. Then there's a bunch of guys there. It's like, hey, go down to the Wailing Caverns, which is the dungeon, which is right there next to the Crossroads. Go get me some shit in there. Or there's a high elf who's like, go down to Northwatch Hold. One of my guys got kidnapped by the fucking humans, and they're treating us like shit. I hate the Alliance. Fuck these guys. Get my boy out of there. There's also be a guy who wants you to kill some pirates along the coastline. So now all of a sudden, what the game just did is you just made a big clockwise circle all around this area of the Barrens in one fell swoop. That's actually...
I see it, yeah. Because you go Crossroads to the right to the pigs, you probably find one of the couple things, you go down the Ratchet, you go south, then you go northeast, and then you're back at the Crossroads, you turn everything in, get all your stuff. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that is the questing design of Vanilla WoW. It's actually really, really good. And the Ratchet in general has a lot of quests, so it'll take you to the Sludge Fen, it'll take you to the Northwatch Hold, it'll take you to the caverns, it'll even take you to other areas, because it actually has a boat that'll take you to another town in Stranglethorn Vale at around level 30. And that is called Booty Bay. Let me go get you a picture of what Booty Bay looks like, because Booty Bay goes fucking hard.
And that's like, I'm going to imagine, probably a lot of pirates.
Yes. It is a really cool pirate town made out of, like, ships and shit stuck to the fucking, like, waterfall, like, mountainside. It's really cool. You do a lot of quests there once you're, like, a higher level, once you're, like, level 30 or 40. But, like, immediately, like, when you go to the Ratchet, you're probably, like, what's that boat that comes there every, like, 5 minutes, cycles between areas? You're just going to be like, before you even questing, you just want to explore. You're going to find Ratchet, and you're going to be like, well, I got to fucking come back here later, right? The game is just naturally, like easing you forward to explore the world and do more shit, and then see things potentially in the future. Modern WoW does things a lot shittier. Once again, let's just look at the crossroads just as a random example. Modern WoW will just be like, you enter the city, enter the area, set a little like tent next to Duratar, that little area. You would start there, take a bunch of quests, go and then turn them into the crossroads. Then you'll take your 3 quests there, get 3 new quests, go down to Ratchet, and then never come back to the crossroads. You're now officially done with the crossroads forever. You will never return there ever in your life. Then you'll take your 4 Ratchet quests, move down to Northwatch Hold, kill the enemies, then the NPC from Ratchet will spawn in that area, so you turn in your quest at Northwatch Hold, who then takes you to Camp Terrarho. Again, you leave, never come back, go to Camp Terrarho, then turn in your 4 quests, get 4 new ones, go down to the Razorven Crawl. NPCs will already be there by a little questing hub, a little tent. You turn your quest in there, and then you leave the area and you never come back. And so you'll be you'll be in and out of the Barrens in 2 hours tops. And then you never come back. And it annoys the ever-loving shit out of me. And I hate that. Because you no longer explore, you no longer appreciate and immerse yourself into the world or do anything. Right now,
it's a checklist.
Exactly.
You do a checklist to accomplish, and then move on to the next point that you're supposed to be on in your streamlined journey. It's not about running around and goofing off and checking stuff out like a video game. It's you have to do this so that you can get to the end game content, so that we can do this and do that, and then start raiding at 7 p.m. next Saturday. If you don't know what I've done, you haven't raised anything, Aleks. I built this guild from the fucking dirt.
I built this guild from nothing. But you see, the secret sauce to a lot of these older towns is that there are high level quests in those towns that you can only get way later. So when I see that Gazlowe has a quest for level 30 players, well, I came here at level 16, so I'm gonna come back to Ratchet later, right? Or even the Crossroads guy, I come there at level 10. But there's a troll guy who gives me a quest that's level 18. Then when I come back to him, he's like, okay, but now, because he wants to deal with the Silithid, who are these little bug guys who are down there. So those little spikes near Camp Terrarho, those are the Silithid. And so he's like, hey, now that you're level 20-something, 26 or whatever, go down to 1,000 Needles. There are more Silithid down there, and go check those guys out for me. So I will go down to the Crossroads and go to Three Wind Post to talk with that guy, and then still come back to the Crossroads to turn that quest in. I come back to the Crossroads. I come back to Ratchet. Hell, I even come back to the capital city all the time too to do quests, not just to go do my professions.
Part of that I'm already seeing as a good design is if I'm a new player and I'm running around and doing this, I'm going to see people that are level 35. They're 15 levels higher than me and they're still in this town. I'm going to say whoa, he's got holy shit, that guy's riding like a devil dog. That's kind of crazy. That dude's got a cool armor. Oh, yes. That dude's got a pet. So RuneScape, the retail RuneScape again fucked up with this. So in RuneScape, kind of the central player hub is the Grand Exchange, because everyone is going to go there because that's where you can list items, you can sell them, you can buy anything, right? RuneScape 3 had a late game area, which is the Elf City, which as a kid, I didn't even know elves were in RuneScape because you never see any of them in a free-to-play area.
I sure as fuck didn't know until you told me.
So they had this high-level Elf City that you have to have 70 and all your stats and all this, and it split the player base because now all the high-level players are over at that one, and now when new players, we're like, oh, I'm going to check out RuneScape, they go to that, it's just full of bots, and it's like a ghost town. There's no one there. There's just bots that are being made by Venezuelans for money, and no one's talking, no one's hanging out. They don't see newer players, nothing, by splitting it like that for no good reason. Yeah, I like the idea of mixing and matching different levels because you're going to be as an MMO, your character's going to grow over time, right? With RuneScape, I can look at my RuneScape dude now and I'm like, shit, dude, all my combats are at 90. I could cast these magic spells that I remember when I first started. I'm like, oh, dude, I really wish I could tan dragon hide, right? And now I could just do that. Or oh man, I sure wish a really recent one is dude, I hate having to go and change my spell books. I keep having to do that. But now my construction's high enough, I could just do that in my house. You kind of you have these little hubs kind of as your progression goes in RuneScape. And it's very interesting how you'll hit certain levels and you'll start hanging out at different ones. I guess for a quick, new players, you're going to be in the Grand Exchange because you're going to go there. There's a bank there. It's a low level magic spell. For me, once I hit 99 farming, I can use that cape and I go to the farming guild. There's a spirit tree, which lets me teleport to the Grand Exchange and a bunch of other places. There's a bank. And also, for farming, you plant shit, and then 8 real-time hours later, it's ready. So I'm going to be going there a shitload, you know? And it just kind of naturally became like my mid-level RuneScape account home, you know?
Yeah, I get
It's very
you.
neat how stuff like that evolves.
But like in vanilla WoW, another thing that's really important to know is not like you said, seeing these players and getting them to these areas is super interesting. But also the fact that it is still an RPG and you're still traveling everywhere rather than just in modern WoW. I need to get somewhere. There's a portal for it. It'll waste no time getting me from point A to point B, and it removes the journey aspect of the game, and that's so fucking important. There's a reason people remember Duratar, Kolgar, the Barrens, and even Stone Talon Mountains and Hillsbrad and shit, because you slowly go through all those areas. Name a modern WoW zone. You probably couldn't. You couldn't because you're not there for very long. You come there, fucking consume it for what fucking cheap thrill it's worth, and then you just fucking discard it. And like in Turtle WoW right now, which is what I'm playing, the vanilla WoW private server, like, see Ratchet there? I'm level 32 right now as my shaman. I still go back to Ratchet, not even for quests, because it still has utility for me. Because it has an auction house in there too. So like, I don't want to fly all the way to Duratar on a flight path where Orgrimmar is, the capital of the Horde city. Because if I were to fly all the way to Duratar, I gotta land to the flight path and then run my ass all around the city, because again, it's a big city. I don't have a flying mount that's 300% movement speed. I have Ghost Wolf. That's 40%. It still takes a while to run through the city. So if I want to go upgrade my skills, it takes a while. But if I just need to, like, say, I'm mining 1,000 needles because there's a lot of ore there, I mine all my ore, then I go to Ratchet to smelt it, and then sell it on the auction house right there, and then I head back to 1,000 needles. Like, that town still has utility beyond just being a random quest hub. Now, not all the towns are like that. Admittedly, Ratchet's a goblin town. The goblin towns are a little above like, average. Most of them are like Camp Terraro down there, which you kind of just do quests for and leave. I'll really admit it, all right? That everyone is the Crossroads and Ratchet, but those towns still exist, and they don't anymore. And nowadays, when it comes to the MMOs, when you see people in modern WoW, you only see people in Stormwind or Orgrimmar. They even got rid of their other capital cities, if you didn't know that. Like, because you know how there used to be Thunderbluff and Undercity for the Horde as well? Yeah, those are gone. Thunderbluff is, like, destroyed, and fucking Undercity got, like, demolished. They force everybody to stay in, like, one area, completely removing, like, the fun factor. Now, I get it. Not everyone hung out in, like, the Night Elf City. Not everyone really hung out in the Undercity much either. They were kind of out of the way. And people would only stop by the Undercity for the flight path and then go to Hilsbrad or like Arathi or whatever, or the Plague Lands or Scarlet Monastery.
Because they seem like they're not very efficient. You know,
yes.
that seems to be the killer for MMOs, is we're making everything as efficient as possible for some fucking reason. I don't get a super efficiency. I don't understand it, but it seems to be what every MMO becomes in the end game is, what can the player do that's most efficient? We're going to streamline everything. We're going to take all the minutia out so that you can repeat the same content 4 million times. Which is why it's so crazy to me that they'll make these disposable ass areas. Like, you're paying people, probably not very well, to make, Durangar, the elf city of whatever the fuck, right? And then it's just gone, like, instantly. Like, you're spending all this time making all this shit, and then people see it, and it's immediately done. Like, that seems baffling to me. It seems like a waste of everyone's time.
And that's kind of what MMOs are. That's why they're kind of dying, because they used to be RPGs you played with other people. Now they are just pure Skinner boxes. The design has changed. And you can only see this old design still like in relics in like vanilla WoW. Now, you mentioned efficiency. It's really interesting to me because let me get you a picture of Orgrimmar. Bam. So over here on the left, that is where the auction house is. That's where like all the people are standing right there. They always just stand right there. Over on the left is the auction house, and on the right, that building that people are sitting on the roof of, that's the bank. Those are really close together. That's why people hang out in Orgrimmar. The auction house and bank are right fucking next to each other. Same with Stormwind. However, now, I'm going to come out and I'm going to shit on Blizzard real fast. Blizzard, people love Ironforge. That's complete horse shit. I remember when I first played when I was a kid, I saw more people in Ironforge than in Stormwind. Stormwind and Ironforge are connected via a big train system, and the auction house and bank are more efficient in Ironforge. Why are we in Stormwind? Fuck you. Stormwind is actually less efficient. I hate that they shill Stormwind. Ironforge is better.
Was
Anyway,
Ironforge the place that had like a giant forge in the middle? It was like a big ring.
no, that's just the Iron Forge. You're mixing it up with the Iron Forge chat. But like back in the day, hitting a city was so different. Jimmy actually talked about this in his really big long video. Jimmy has a very great video. He's a RuneScape player who
Yeah.
played WoW for the first time. And he mentioned how different it was to play retail, do the tutorial quest, and get teleported right to Stormwind, as opposed to playing vanilla, doing the intro quest, running to Goldshire, and then running to Stormwind. And then hitting that music when you first enter the city gates hits all that much differently when you actually walk your slow ass all the way over there. That is important. The journey is important. Because when you give players like every option, they will optimize the fun out of their own game. That is a very true thing with game design, that you had to kind of protect the players from themselves. And WoW never did that. WoW just became what raiders and high level players wanted it to be. That's why it has condensed itself more and more and more and more into basically just being bank standing, and auction house gambling and raiding, and that's it. Like
What is auction house gambling?
Just playing the stock market. I call stock markets just gambling. Like you literally, people will get add-ons. People will get little. Hold on, I gotta talk about this. People will get straight up fucking add-ons into their fucking WoW UI, because you can mod the WoW UI and it's perfectly legal even on retail. You can do that. They will get a like you know those little like stock like graphs and sheets and shit that people watching the numbers go up.
Candlesticks. Yeah.
Yes, they will have straight up like a real-time stock market like fucking chart constantly going, as they will fucking just tap on their keyboards, buying out copper ore, selling it for 2 copper more, buying out this, selling it for 1 gold more, just constantly fucking sitting around the auction house all goddamn day. People will do whatever it takes to get money that isn't just run out and kill some stupid fucking enemies. It's fucking
It's almost
awful.
like that's not fun to do. It's not engaging.
Yes, it's awful. I hate, like, everyone who does that, and this is ultimately just player's choice. I can't stop them, but like, fuck, dude. That is what a lot of those guys who are standing around out there are doing. They're in the process of buying shit and then running towards the bank, or vice versa.
See, when you said gambling, RuneScape has a problem with the fact that RuneScape is so simplistic that you can bot it very easily. I have never gone to the Grand Exchange and not seen at least 2 or 3 bots advertising gambling services. What the gambling services are is you trade the bot and you give them 200,000 gold or higher, and then they roll a die and they say, congratulations, you hit 65, you get to double your money, and that's it. So statistically, they're going to win more. And I've seen people like go over there and trade them and walk away with like 400 mil and shit.
So
that's what RuneScape's full of.
Turtle WoW actually added gambling parlors, which is really fun. Yeah. So in Sparkwater Port, which is the custom goblin town, you can go there and gamble with a goblin. And then in Orgrimmar, there's a new little like bar opened up, hosted by this goblin who there's an NPC there who will gamble you. You just roll dice against him, and you either win money or lose. And that's it.
That's funny.
I went there and streamed like, yeah, I got this in the bag. I did it for 2 hours and lost 2 gold, and that's it.
Based.
That's a lot of money early game. Okay,
Let's go gambling.
Let's go. Damn it. So, what is it? What is it other than just numbers? What, like, when you go through in these RPGs, getting a number going up is important. RuneScape is all about that. When I'm going and putting down bones in the dirt, my prayer goes up a little bit. I kill an enemy. My fucking either like offense
I
or
murder
defense.
a man in his own home. My attack level goes up.
Yeah, your magic or range goes up as well. Like, all of these things go up. Your number goes up. Everything in RuneScape has a number attached to it. Hopping over a fence has a number attached to it. In World of Warcraft, it's the same kind of thing. You get EXP from killing enemies. You have skills to do. Like, RuneScape has every profession you can do all at once. You can do cooking, fucking fire making, fucking runing or whatever, rune crafting all at once, right, on one character. In WoW, you actually can't. In World of Warcraft, you take 2 professions, 2 primary ones, like a gathering one. Oh, well, you can do double gathering, double crafting, whatever, but there are 2, basically, either gathering, which is mining, skinning, herbalism, you get the idea, or there is crafting, like leatherworking, blacksmithing, engineering, tailoring, that's what's called. I was going to say clothes making, like tailoring, jewel crafting, and these skills are used to either give yourself equipment or sell shit. Now, a lot of what you make is kind of just trash. Like, I'm an engineer. That means I solve practical problems. I can make, like, guns and, like, ammo and, like, bombs and shit. No one's gonna buy any of that shit, really. No one really cares. However, it lets me make goggles, which are cool, because one, they are early game helmets you can wear before you can start getting helmets. Because you don't get, like, a headgear item until you're, like, level 30. Same with your shoulder pads, which is kind of nice. So people will spend a little money on that stuff. But for the most part, you just kind of make gizmos and shit. Now, what's important is mining. Mining, I mine ore, craft it, and sell it. But I can only do two things. So say I want to be double gathering, where I was like both a miner and an herbalist. That's all I can do. I can't suddenly become an alchemist now. Those are my two professions.
Okay. That seemed, because when you said that skill list, that's a lot of fucking skills. Like, to only be able to use two of those at once is very interesting to me. For a couple reasons. One, that sounds annoying as fuck. Two, that also means that you can't tie quests to your skills outside of maybe a couple superfluous ones, because you can't design a whole quest and be like, oh, okay, this is, you're in the deep mines of Dorvencia. Because what if a player doesn't have 70 mining? Like, they just can't do that. And a significant amount of players probably don't have mining as one of their only skills they can do.
Well, funny you mentioned that. Turtle WoW actually added a quest for mining, and he specifically says, go mine me 10 copper ore. If you're not a miner, go ask your friends some. If you got no friends, go buy some off the auction house. But,
so
aside of that.
Will they be different things? Like, I assume, like, if you, let's say that, like, okay, I'm going to specialize in magic or whatever. So I'm going to do the leather one, because I can make leather robes. And then I guess I'll take herbalism so I can gather herbs to make for money or something. Well, skills still a way you can make money.
So, yes, but you wouldn't want to do that, because if you want to make a leather worker, you might as well get skinning so you can get your own leather. That's where you get leather from. You skin enemies, right? So, whatever crafting skill you take is basically tied to your gathering. So, gathering, though, is how you make most of your money. Like, you can make money off of blacksmithing, leatherworking, and engineering and shit. You can make money off of that. But it's way quicker just to say, fuck it, and just do what people don't want to do. Because what people will do is, when you craft an item, say I craft this copper bolt with 1 copper bar. Every time I do that, I get 1 skill up, 1 number go up. But do I really want to go run around 1,000 needles and Duratar to go get 30 copper? Or the auction house is right there, man. You know what I mean? So with that, the
problem I see coming up from that right away is you take a processing skill that's going to make you the most amount of money, and then a gathering skill is going to make you the most amount of money, and you just do that and you buy the rest of it. Like, you just buy the end products, right? Because there'd be no real reason to even bother with that shit. Because there is no quest or anything gating it off.
So, not necessarily. So what's interesting is that it's a supply and demand thing. So when it comes to the materials, a lot of the low-level stuff is worth nothing, and the high-level material stuff is also worth nothing, because everyone is either a new player who has a billion ore, they just or like a billion fucking peace bloom, they're just sitting around everywhere, or they're a high-level player that's hanging out in the high-level areas and getting the high-level shit. There's not a lot of level 30 players getting tin and fucking coarse stones, though. So suddenly people will pay out the ass, because they know what they, like, when you're level 60, do you want to go run around the 1,000 needles on your mount for like 3 hours? No. But some other guy was questing and just got a bunch of tin ore for you, so he's going to sell that and you'll just buy it off of him, right? They kind of feed into each other like that. So it's not as bad as you think, actually. But there are other things called secondary professions. Secondary professions like cooking and fishing and first aid, you can have those no matter what. You can every those are like RuneScape skills, and everyone can have them. And if you want to make money, now look, my friend told me not to tell anybody, but I'm gonna let you know a little secret. If you want to make money, you gotta do the most boring shit nobody wants to do, because there's gonna be a demand for a supply no one wants to go farm. Now, plenty of people want to go mine, because there's a lot of, blacksmithing makes good gear, because gear in WoW, in vanilla WoW, actually mattered. Like, when I make, like, engineering goggles in modern WoW, those are just for transmog basics, because I'm going to get those a better gear in a dungeon in 5 fucking minutes. But in vanilla WoW, when I build, when I craft reinforced leather that gives me +2 stamina, +2 strength, plus a armor boosting item that I can make to give it, like, 5 additional armor, bro, I'm going to be wearing that for, like, 6 levels, alright? Like, that matters.
That's a significant boost.
Yeah, the gear matters back then. So that shit does make you money, or just gives you yourself power. But if you want to make just money, you do fishing. Fishing is very important in World of Warcraft because you can cook fish for food. Food from cooking gives you stat boosts, and you want those for both leveling just so you don't die, but also in raids so you can get your DPS numbers up, right? Like having 20 additional stamina from your roasted fish, that will save you from getting 1 or 2 shot. They'll put you over like a breakpoint, right? Like you want that shit. So
is fishing a sub skill, or is it something you have to specifically pick?
It's a secondary profession, and everyone can have fishing no matter what. There's no cap. You can have fishing, first aid, and cooking no matter what.
Okay, because that's what I was gonna say. Because like the problem with like, okay, you get 2 out of these 8 skills is I'm just thinking, I'm like, if any of those skills ever suddenly start making money, I imagine you could probably respec your skills somewhere.
You can,
or you buy a new character or whatever, right? And then you have 2 characters that are mining, or one's mining and one's gathering herbs.
You can respec, but it does reset it to 0. So you got to be kind of you gotta not do that when you're super far into it. All the professions, all the gathering are relatively useful because they're all used for something, right? You're always going to need leather to make something. You're always going to need cloth, which granted, you don't gather cloth, you just farm it off of enemies. That one's easier to get. Like, tailoring makes the least amount of money only because cloth drops just from enemies. Everyone gets cloth just doing shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the specialized things, like, no one wants to go run around the hills to go get fucking Briarthorn. So that's worth a decent amount because you use that to make alchemy potions. What are alchemy potions? Alchemy can make elixirs, and elixirs are 1 to 2 hour long buffs that last through death that are always used in dungeons and raids. Because why the fuck wouldn't you? Again, useful. Blacksmithing, already told you, gives you a lot of good armor. Now, endgame, you're not going to use blacksmithing because endgame, you're going to be using raid gear. Blacksmithing does fall off. Engineering actually still has tech, because engineering makes not only just like funny things like pets, but they'll make enchantments and gizmos to do things, like the Goblin Rocket Boots, which you can attach to your boots to activate to have a coin flip chance to either give you a burst of movement speed or set yourself on fire and slowly lose all of your HP.
Hell yeah.
But then there's like tailoring just makes robes. Again, like blacksmithing, it falls off. Leatherworking falls off. What mostly happens is alchemy, engineering's okay, and cooking. And fishing. Those are all the skills that will actually make you money. Because cooking doesn't make that much money, but it also, like, not everyone wants to level cooking.
So it's interesting to see, because already I'm seeing a massive difference. So RuneScape, obviously, you have your, like, 13 skills or whatever. You got attack, defense, what you got stuff that everyone has to use, like, you know, your attack skills, your health skill, prayer, whatever. But then what RuneScape will do is that everyone has access to all these skills all the time. They just have to grow them, right? So some of the things that they've done, like people are like, hey, agility sucks. Yes, it unlocks shortcuts, but by the time you have your agility up, you're already done with those quests, and it doesn't save you much time, doesn't do anything. So they're like, hey, okay, we got an idea. We're going to add these agility courses you can do, you know, and they're scaled like, you know, some of these entry-level towns, you can hop along the rooftops, you know, get these little marks of grace that look like they look like pizzas. So every 2 weeks, someone posts on the fucking old school RuneScape subreddit that goddamn picture of Breaking Bad where there's a pizza on the roof, and everyone laughs and has a gay old time about it. I'm trying to think of a good example. Like, there's certain skills in RuneScape that exist, they were useful, but at this point in the game, they don't really have a purpose anymore. So they'll sometimes just like stick certain things in there. Like, okay, herb lore. That's a good one. That's, you know, like alchemy, you're making potions. Herb lore fucking sucks. Because all you do is you take 14 herbs and 14 vials of water, and you combine them in your inventory. And then you take 14 ingredient, and then you combine it with that. And that's the entire skill from level 1 to level 99. That's all you do. So they're like, okay, this is boring. What can we do? So they came up with a mini game. There's 3 different types of potions, and you pull on these levers and you make the potion, and then you shake it up or you grind it or you stir it or whatever, and you like boom boom boom, you do all that. It's like a little mini game. All it does is just gives you XP for that skill, but it's kind of fun, and there's some like rewards in it that are just like big quality of life unlocks. Like one of them is potions no longer take up space in your bank. They have their own little slot, and you can very easily take them out in whatever order you want.
Okay.
They'll kind of do stuff like that where it's like, hey, we know this skill doesn't really work anymore. No one's fletching to sell bows to make money, because once you get a bow, it's good forever, right?
Yeah.
But now, hey, we have this mini game that involves fletching where you're making, you know, all sorts of bullshit. They'll give you it. They'll they'll patch up certain skills throughout the game to try to keep them relevant in some way. Like fishing, okay, hey, we added a new type of fish. And this fish, like, the higher your HP level is, the better the fish is, and it can overheal you. Hey, all of a sudden, now fishing feels a lot more worth the level because I've got this big thing at the end.
Well, here's the thing. World of Warcraft is vanilla is an actual RPG. These things do still matter because, yeah, I can go get these cool leather braces that are blue that'll, like I was wearing my level 16 blue leather braces until I was level 29 and I replaced them. Not because I didn't find anything, because a blue that early is that good. It had 42 armor. That's a lot for a level 16 level bracer. For reference, the greens I got from Quest were like 20 armor, alright? That shit helps. However, that's a 20% drop chance, and I have to roll against that. If it even drops in the first place, I have to roll against it against the rest of the fucking party. Like, you're not guaranteed to get these things while you're leveling, so these skills help you circumvent a lot of that bullshit. Because, like, not a lot of people are going to run these dungeons multiple times, because when you have the quests, generally speaking, you do the dungeon like once and then you're done. You only ever do repeats if you either missed a quest or you just really like the dungeon. Like in my case, I liked Wailing Cavern, so I wanted to do it multiple times. But like, when it comes to a lot of the gear, being at endgame is the end of vanilla WoW. That's the big difference, where later they want endgame to be the main game. The game of WoW is the adventure. It is the questing. It is the skills. It is everything. That is the game. It's not just, oh, I'm done. I'm going to go bank stand all day. No. It is going through Thousand Eagles. It is going through the Shimmering Flats and participating in the Goblin Race. It is heading down to the Gadget Stand and doing whatever the fuck you want in Zanaris. Zanaris kind of sucks ass. Like, it is doing all of those things. That is the game. And with RuneScape, does RuneScape really give you a reason to go back to older areas?
Here's kind of like the general progression of a RuneScape account. So first, you can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want. There's not a ton of gated content. Like some things that are important, like, hey, go do this quest in the jungle area and you can catch these weird octopus that you can eat. Like you can eat a shark for food and then eat an octopus at the same time, and it won't like take twice as long to hit your guy in combat or whatever. Like you just eat. But it's like, that's locked by a quest, but you don't have to do that. You can go do whatever the fuck you want and then go catch those high level fish later or whatever. But like the general checklist for a RuneScape is account. Okay, like you start it, you're killing goblins, you're doing some quests, you're just kind of doing whatever. And you'll stay within that early game section for a pretty decent amount of time. If you're being very efficient about it, you won't be in there terribly, terribly long. Like you'll get all your skills to like 40, and then you can start doing some quests that unlock higher level stuff that some of it will be like, hey, this type of tree is very good, and you'll get a decent amount, it takes a certain amount of attention to do it. It gives you a decent amount of XP. It's a nice area. You could do that all the way up to like level 70 or whatever. Like you can unlock some of these ones that you'll then pop your ass at while you're doing homework, and then just do that for a while.
I was going to remind me of something. You say level 70. Every skill goes to 99. What actually calculates your level? Is it just your combat skills?
So your combat, to calculate your combat level, it's your attack, strength, defense, health, magic, ranged, and prayer. And so that's very, very important for RuneScape PvP, which is the lamest thing on earth. Because the way that RuneScape PvP works is that it actually supports like specific builds. So like you can go all in on strength. And then that means that, you have a low chance to hit because your attack is only like 1. But if you hit someone, you're going to chunk their ass for a lot, right?
Yes, I remember in RuneScape there are pures where they will level everything besides like defense or whatever. Explain that to me, because I'm not entirely sure how it works.
So pures, it's mostly for PvP stuff or to be a special snowflake, because RuneScape has so much freedom, you're allowed to pretty much do whatever. So like an attack pure would be someone that only does attack so that he can wield a really, really high level weapon and use it against people who like a normal account like mine, where I kind of leveled everything at once. Some dude that's in the same combat bracket as me that, min-maxed his attack stats, he's got 75 strength. He can fucking smack me for way more than I can hit him, and he's going to win because his whole account is built around being able to do that, to have certain types of weapons and access to certain abilities and shit.
But wouldn't you
And
just be so when you're all 99 in your strength like nothing else or whatever? Wouldn't just like a stiff breeze fucking kill you?
yes,
Oh, okay.
but if you're in the wilderness, even if you're the aggressor, you can always keep at least one item when you die. So if you're 99 strength, you just have a big fuck you weapon. Who cares if you die? You just fucking clunk me, or you risk like, a certain amount of gold or whatever. You risk 100k. Usually people that have pure accounts have already beaten RuneScape and they've got nothing else to do, so they just keep making more accounts like that.
And they just, I want to go back in.
Exactly. So like they just don't give a fuck. And if they kill me, well shit, dude, they just took, fucking 100k, of all the shit I had in the wilderness. And they do that to, every time they die, they might lose, 120k. But if they kill like 4 people because their account's set for it, there you go. You can make money, They might never fucking chop a tree in their life because they just want to go out and kill people in the wilderness.
They just want to kill people.
In fact, the level of openness that they have for your ability to do that is actually a really big problem because there is a clan called Reign of Terror, which has basically mafiosoed the wilderness. And they have completely locked down the highest money makers in RuneScape. And you cannot go in there and do that content for very long before they come in there and just kill every single person in the cave unless you pay them protection money.
Unless you pay them protection money. Yeah, WoW would actually do that when in its most autistic days. So I'm sure you've heard the story of the Scarab Lord in World of Warcraft.
I have not heard of the Scarab Lord.
All right, well, there's this person who was like a WoW streamer who was doing, when Vanilla WoW opened, they wanted to go and get the Scarab Lord title. The way the Scarab Lord works is that there's a raid called Encourage. It's the bug people. They are these bug motherfuckers who worship the old gods and shit. Here's just like this guy, just random bug guy. You get what I'm talking about, bug people. So,
people.
This dungeon is this raid is very interesting. You have to do a very long quest chain to unlock it for the server. Now, you might be thinking, doesn't that mean only like one group of people can open it? Yes, that's exactly where this becomes a story. Server opens, people, the patch comes up to your server, you're in, Glup Shido guild or whatever. Because remember, there are servers in WoW, just like how there's worlds in RuneScape. So imagine there's a quest that like only you can party in RuneScape, right?
Party?
Yeah, like group up. You can perform groups in
only
RuneScape,
for the 3 different end game raids that they have, and those are really only accessible to people who have at least like 70 in their skills.
Oh, okay.
But outside of that, there's like 400 different worlds in RuneScape, and they don't actually have any world content where it's like, oh, on this world, this boss spawns. Kind of the closest thing to that is certain mini games are only playable on like 3 different worlds, just to, condense the players to be able to do it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, actually, this might be similar to what you're thinking of. So, okay, one of the things that people do is there's a mini game in RuneScape called Castle Wars. And what it is it's capture the flag. And what happened is this one guy just decided he wants to be one of the only people with the full item set. So if you're playing on the world, there's a chance this dude just shows up and he will grief you and basically take all of your supplies and lock you into your dungeon, like your own base. And it's going to take a significant amount of time for you to break out of it. And by the time you do that, he would have already stolen your flag and he would have put it somewhere where it takes forever for you to get. He has an entire account that's dedicated to making himself unkillable just so that you can't win and you can't get points to get the upgrades. That's like all he does because he thinks it's really funny to fuck with people. And granted, yes, it is correct. I love seeing Redditors bitch and moan about it. That is really funny to me.
So, well, that is close. So the way this works is you have to go through a very long quest chain, a very long one, where you have to go like, hey, go over here and grind this reputation so this dragon doesn't hate you because he's normally hostile on sight. So you do this quest line to get him to not kill you. Specifically to get him to neutral. That's when you can talk to an NPC. So you get him to neutral, and he's like, get the fuck out of here. I don't fucking speak human. And you're like, oh, well, fuck, I need to go speak dragon now. So you go to an island to kill this evil gnome guy to get the Book of Draconic, but then you realize it's missing a few pages. You have to go get the other pages for the book to learn how to get Draconic. Then you go and read it, and you're like, oh, this is in Gnomish. Hang on, we gotta go find another gnome to read it for me. So you get to a gnome, and he reads it to you, and then you learn how to speak Draconic. Then you run back to the dragon.
What if you're a gnome?
I think it's in a different language then, just to fuck with you. So then you go, then you learn Draconic from the fucking like NPC. Then you run all the way over to the fucking elf guy. He's like, oh, you speak Draconic now. Go talk to the dragons. The dragon's like, ew, don't fucking talk to me, you fucking mortal. You're like, hey, I need to kill the bugs in the bug land. Can you help me out? And he's like, fine. But first, you need to prove to me how good you are at killing these bugs. Give me 500 carapaces. And once you go and get 500 carapaces sorry, that's not actually that easy to get 500 carapaces, because here's how it works. In Silithus, where the bug people are all from, there's bugs everywhere. And more importantly, there are Alliance and Horde everywhere. There are Horde and Alliance players fighting for the spawns to kill these bugs to get the carapaces. Why? Because only one group of people can ring this gong, which is the ending of the quest. So if I want to go get 500 carapaces, well, this Alliance motherfucker just stole fucking 10 bugs from me. Hey, guildies, let's go and jump this guy. Then he'll say, fuck, I just got fucking jumped. Guildies, back me up. And so people will start beating the shit out of each other over these fucking bug spawns. And people will form mafia things, just like in the wilderness, where Silithus is basically like Silithus back in the day when a server was like new or like this just came out. It looked like the wilderness you were describing, where you had to basically pay guildies or join them to get this shit done. And if you want to join the guild, you have to be like prove how autistic you were and how good at raiding you were to get in. Because these were the hardcore poop sockers, you know. They were doing this shit every day and every night. You would have to. I'm dead serious about this. You would have to log and schedule with the most autistic ones how many bugs you were killing to contribute to the cause, and if you were good enough to stay on the fields, or you'd be stuck on like guard duty to stop fucking rogues from sneaking in and stealing shit. I'm dead serious. This is all real. This is all completely real. This is all like player generated content at this point. So eventually, the story is like on the vanilla WoW servers, they were telling this whole story like how they did it themselves. But this was kind of the same across the game, across time. Everyone was just beating the shit out of each other for this. And when they finally turn in the quest to turn their 500 carapaces, they then get to go kill this guy, get a staff, kill this other guy, get a scepter, and create this gong, the mallet, to hit the gong. And when you hit that gong, a 1 hour timer appears where now everyone else who's on the quest, like on that part of the quest, can run up and right click the gong and finish the quest and get the rewards as well. After that time is up, the quest is auto-filled and everyone's in quest log and they just can't turn it in anymore for the rest of time. It's done. It's over.
Wow.
Yes. So you might be thinking, doesn't that make this really, 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 really competitive? Yes. So what is this all for? Why are you doing this? You get a title. Okay, what else do you get? Well, WoW Black Karaji Tank. Despite its name, it's not actually what you think it is. So, if you do this quest, you are one of like 10 or so people in the server who gets this mount, this cool black purpley beetle. You get to ride that, as well as you have the title, the Scarab Lord. Now, that's all you really get. Because the raid then opens, and everyone can do the raid now in the server, which is kind of cool, but everyone wants to be the Scarab Lord.
Scarab Lord.
Yes. So whenever you see that, if you were to ever see that guy, that means on his server, he's one of like 40 or so people. Because again, you have a 1 hour time frame, and the guilds all collude, right? So all the guild members will turn in at once. So like,
and then if you're not online in that singular hour, and also not the correct Alliance or Horde, because if you're an Alliance and the Horde did it, you ain't getting in there to ring that fucking gong. There's gonna be a million Horde dudes there.
Yeah, and in fact, in the screenshot I showed you, you literally see Alliance and Hordes fighting over that gong. Like they want that tank. They want it's a beetle. It's not actually a tank. It's just called the battle tank. They want the title. And they want that shit. So they would just fight over it. And this is actually what made WoW kind of special, if a bit poopsaki. It made players chase the sweetest fucking carrot on a fucking stick. The simplest fucking carrot that's just painted a funny color, and they would all fucking swarm for it. It was great. And
what's funny is that's actually healthier than what they were doing in the wilderness of RuneScape, because that shit in the wilderness that generates billions of gold a day.
Oh, which yeah, I guess
billions and billions, and all of a sudden that's flooding in, and you don't have access to that, but they do. And then you just you throw it onto mules, and then you real world trade it, and now you have an actual financial incentive So now you can actually pay people. You can pay people in Venezuela to do this kind of shit and do like these fucking napalm strikes in the Revenant caves. And the funniest part is Jagex quite literally has nothing they can do about it. Also, one of the mod staff was part of that, was getting paid off by the clan for a while. Like, he was getting paid real ass money to like log into people's accounts and like dump all their items and shit. Because who's gonna believe them? Who's gonna believe that you just logged in to your account that's fully secure and all of a sudden all your shit's gone? No one's gonna believe you, right? And I think it took until a player was like, you know, he checked, like, he was like, this is my internet history, and like turned it into a legal case that Jagex is like, oh fuck yeah, Mod Jet is part of this clan and he has just been stealing shit.
That's fucked, actually. I didn't know that.
They have these events called Dead Man Mode, where it's a fresh world in RuneScape, fresh account. I think XP is like ×5 or something. But if you die, you lose all your shit, including the shit in your bank, and you lose a bunch of XP. And once again, that clan just took over those worlds, and they've won every single contest that they've done. My favorite one is they won because the ending of Dead Man Mode, you had your account, and then whoever was alive, they put you into these series of 1v1 PvP battles. But if the fight took too long, the arena started getting smaller and smaller and smaller with this death fog. So what did they do? As soon as their clans were winning, and all of them had at least 1 HP more, they DDoSed the servers. And so everyone wasn't able to react, and they all got killed by the fog, but their people had the most life, so they won, and they got like the $5,000 payout or something.
Oh my god.
And because RuneScape is so simple, if you want to ban one of those accounts, 1, they haven't technically done anything wrong, and 2, they'll just make another one. Who gives a shit? You know? It's very wild. There's another guy who, one of the things that RuneScape does well is it keeps content relevant. Like, there's some shit that came out in 2007. God Wars dungeon, and it's still worth doing to this day in 2024 because it gives you some of the only, it's like all the shit in RuneScape kind of goes up. You know, you got your tiers of stuff. You got bronze all the way up to rune to dragon to Barrows, which is like a thing that you unlock in like the swamp. And then from there you could do the God Wars dungeon, where you go in there, you kill a bunch of dudes, you go in there, you could get these big swords, these big armors, which are like marginally better, but they have like some attack bonuses. And then everything past that is like kind of superfluous. Like I got the bandos armor. It costs about 100 mil. And that's like, once you have that, you can do like end game raids in that and you're just fine. Anything past this content from 2007 is just kind of gravy. Like, you really don't need it. And to even get like the shit. So like bandos is like the melee armor. It's got really strong defense, and it increases your actual max hit. Like, if your max hit is 50, you'll roll between 0 and 50 for the damage. If it's 55, you'll roll between 0 and 55 for the damage, which increases your overall damage per second, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to upgrade that, I think the highest level armor in the game is like 60. Like, it increases your damage from like 0, like 5. Like, that's it. And the only way to get it is to destroy the armor you currently have into its parts to upgrade the new drop. As a result, people are always going to be doing these bosses, right?
Uh-huh.
And the guy that drops the melee one specifically, there's another dude who spends all day hopping worlds to find people trying to do that boss. And he's like maxed. He's got like the optimal, strongest setup, and he'll just go in there and steal the boss from you. Because if he does 51% damage, he gets the drop. And he'll just stay there. You are forced to leave to find another world. I don't know, man. It's pretty funny. Anything that makes Redditors seethe is good in my book.
Well, luckily, WoW doesn't do too much shit that affects the gold cap like that I'm aware of, other than, like, say, hanging around Ungoro and killing people so you can get all the mithril, because mithril is usually worth a lot of money. It's a rare, like, drop. But either way, like, WoW players back in the day would get more artistic, not necessarily over gold, because you could always just kill enemies. Mostly about getting special things you could only get once in a lifetime, like the Black Karaji battle tank. That's more of what drove WoW players. Now, the other thing I want to talk about with the MMOs is it's not just about this shit. Like the aforementioned battle tank, there is a community-driven kind of aspect to it. Because, like, the game didn't say, hey, go farm up into clans and groups and guard your fellow guildies as they farm 500 carapaces. Players just kind of did that naturally because people would just start beating the shit out of each other to get this fucking mount, right? That just kind of happened. That's actually really important to an MMO is allowing players to kind of just like dropping them into a world and just let them beat, like kind of just slap each other with sticks. It's important to let them actually do these things and have a little freedom. Modern WoW has no freedom. You're just on rails the whole way, and you're constantly given like horse blinders to never interact with anybody. Now, this is a really subtle thing that you might not have noticed. Did you watch the Jimmy video I sent you?
I got about halfway through it, then I was like, oh man, I really gotta go to the bathroom, and then I forgot about it. I'll be fully honest.
Oh, well, it's a good video, but like, it's easy for just to show you what like WoW looks like, even if it's in the background, because like I'm not gonna fucking resub to like new WoW just to show. I'm gonna give Blizzard $15, but like when he's questing through the world, you might not have noticed it, but he never sees another player.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that happens is WoW has added these things called phases, where you kind of get phased into your own separate little like it's semi-transparent instance where you're with you, your group, and other people who are in a similar state or stage of a quest line to you. And over time, they've made that worse and worse and worse.
Why would I want that?
Because okay, so here's why. Back in the day, have you ever played an MMO? Oh no, you haven't because you even played RuneScape. Back in the day, what happened to WoW and its clones would be new expansion drops, and I need to go kill Kolgar the buttfuckener, and he's over in a cave over in South Shore or something, right? Mm-hmm. I run over there, but he's already dead, and there's 5 people sitting around waiting.
Oh, yeah.
So now they're like, "Hey, our group's full, but you can wait in line." People, and this happens in every MMO like this. People will form lines waiting to kill the quest drop. Now,
this happens in RuneScape too, but specifically, RuneScape has their leagues, and like they'll have different tasks. And one of the ones that they do every league is you go into the wizard's tower and you kill the demon there. So people would just stand in like a line all the way down to the bottom of the tower and out across the bridge, just waiting to kill the demon to get that task done, because only one person can attack it at a time.
Yep. So they were annoyed by people on Reddit would bitch and moan saying, "Wow, Blizzard, I spent $8,000 on all these cosmetics on your store, and I have to wait to kill this enemy? Rabble. So they said, okay, fine, you're in your own little personal fucking Googa Gaga land now. And so the only people who will enter your fucking zone are people who are in like your group or clan or whatever. Now, well, cool, you can go kill your quest drops whenever you want. You're also completely alone in this barren fucking wasteland."
Yeah, like, that seems like the nuclear option. Just be like, yeah, we'll remove the massively multiplayer part. In fact, we'll basically remove the online like part entirely, so you can just play this by yourself. That doesn't seem very fun to me. I want to see other people in your MMO.
Okay, fascist.
True. I am a racist for that.
So they didn't immediately go nuclear, but they were doing it progressively. Like, originally it would just be, like, the main quest line. So, like, I talked to Jaina. Jaina then moves over to this part of the town. Only, like, me and other people who are on quest 3 and 4 will see each other because in this, specifically in this town, just because it would be weird to have, like, 5 versions of the NPC scattered all over the place, right? That makes sense. But then, of course, people were like, okay, why don't you use this feature like this? Or why don't you use this feature like this? And eventually it became the nuclear option where now everyone's just alone, unless you're in the capital city where phasing's turned off, just to make the game look like it's more popular than it is. And also...
See, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because RuneScape has a similar system where they have instances of stuff that's part of the world is always going to be a lot. You're never going to see these people because you're not on this quest. Like, that just seems like a bad idea to me.
Wow, what a shocker. It's almost like World of Warcraft sucks and it is dying for a reason. It's a mystery. So, like, when it happens in WoW, there's actually another factor to it while you're questing in modern WoW. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm alone, and this feels like a waste of time. Like what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm just killing random enemies who aren't a threat or any challenge by myself. I'm not talking to anybody, because I'm not, if you're not in Stormwind or Orgrimmar, you're not seeing nobody. And if I go into a randomized dungeon group with people that I have no idea, I will get kicked if I say hello, because people are
wasting time.
Yeah, people are so fucking burnt, like to the little fucking like nub of like a candle, that they just do it. They just do it for the numbers at this point. They're like those old people at the slot machines. You know that the fucking video.
Yeah.
Where that's what WoW players are nowadays. They don't even care anymore. They just want to see the numbers. They just want to see the flashing lights. And it sucks. It really does. Because even in Turtle WoW, and I mentioned this before when I went with the random people I walked by.
Optimization.
Well, yes, but like even in Turtle WoW, because that game is it's vanilla fucking WoW. It's been around for 6 years. Everyone knows how to play it, and even with custom balance changes, up until the big patch comes out, which is coming out really really soon, apparently. It's like I know how to play vanilla. I know the warrior's the best tank. Right? It doesn't actually matter. But like you've played it and optimized it so well, you actually have a different opinion. You don't think like, oh, gotta do my Mythic Key Plus. You're just like, yeah, I'm already done with fucking Naxxramas, but like, hey, Jimmy, if you want to play it, yeah, sure, I'll be down to do a fucking run with it. Why the fuck not? They're a lot more like laid back in Turtle WoW that I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
At least at the
because they've already
stuff.
experienced all this. They've already gone through it. They've got to the end game in normal WoW. This is just like a gravy train. This is going back and playing it for funsies.
Yes, but
they've already gone through the whole emotional cycle of abuse.
Yes, but there's a big thing with vanilla WoW. I guess maybe specifically at a private server. That you actually already know because you mentioned it. You said, when you were talking about these players, did you say something interesting? You said that they beat RuneScape. How do you beat an MMO, Tad? Well...
All right. Well, here, I actually have a little like checklist for this. Is kind of what happens with RuneScape. So yeah, like early game is you're running around, you're doing quests. When you do a quest in RuneScape, you get quest points, you get little rewards, and you'll usually progress your account in some way. You'll unlock some area, or you'll now be able to talk to someone who can give you something. A good example is there's a big dinner party at the Lumbridge Castle, right? Like the starting area. And you go in there and the Culinaromancer shows up. And then everyone gets stopped in time. And what you do is you have to talk to each individual person. And like the goblins, you can do it when you're like level 30. And you go and you come up with a goblin snot cake. And you bring it back and it breaks them out of the spell. And then there's like the monkey guy. And for him, like... you got to have the monkey quest done, which is like a pretty far in their quest. Like it's something you can go back to and do that quest a bunch of times. There are a lot of little checkpoints in RuneScape for your quests. And the whole reason you would want to do the Culinaromancer's quest is one, it's fun. You know, there's a bunch of fun bosses, like little unique mechanics, but you also get access to like a food chest and you can get some hard to get cooking items. Like you can get chocolate bars, you can get flour so you don't have to go grind it at the mill. But you can also get like these gloves. And these gloves, if you do the full quest, those are good enough to use an end game rating. And you get it from a quest that you just do by leveling your account. So like early game is getting all that stuff done. Mid game is when you've got your stats at about 70. So like you do that, you know, the end of mid game is once you get those God Wars dungeon items. Because now like, oh, I'm suddenly really strong. You know, it's about 100 mil to get the magic one, 100 mil for the melee, 100 mil for the range. Now you're working on the achievement diaries, which are just little bonus things for areas, right? I got a ton of stuff done. I've got a couple things to do, and then I'm pretty much good. Once I get to those, I'm done. I don't have to go rush out to go do anything. I've got my loadouts for my character. I can do pretty much any new content they add into the game, unless I want to poop sock something. I'm pretty good. And if I'm bored, I can catch some fish while doing podcast editing, you know? I can take it at my own pace.
Vanilla WoW was kind of similar. It's like, I want to hit level 60. To a lot of people, you're basically done right there. The leveling experience is the game, and the raids and shit are just kind of like a mini game or a sideshow. Or you can be like, I want to go do the raids and get my raid gear. So you go kill, you know, the bugs a bunch, you go kill the fucking molten core a bunch, you go kill fucking the dragons a bunch, you get all your fucking raid tier sets, bam. You got exactly what you wanted for your spec or whatever, then you're done with the game. Or like, I want to go PvP a lot, right? And I want to get like the cool, because you get titles for getting a bunch of kills in PvP, whether it's in the world or in the battlegrounds. So like, I want to hit High Warlord or High General. You can cut it right there as well. I want to max my professions. You know, you have stages. Final Fantasy XIV is actually really interesting too, because Final Fantasy XIV, much like in RuneScape, you can actually level everything. You just swap classes. You don't need to make new characters, because it's like Final Fantasy 3, we can change jobs. So like, I play Final Fantasy 14, I hit level 80 or whatever the max level is now. I haven't played 14 in a while. Let's say it's like 80. I hit level 80 and everything, including like the fucking meme stuff, like crafting and whatever. I'm done. Like, I beat the main quest, I'm done. I did all my proficiencies, I'm done. That is the game. And as Yoshi P himself says, hey, if you're done with the game, feel free to unsubscribe. I don't want you to feel like you have to stay in the game, unlike like other MMOs. That's good. I like that. vanilla WoW, specifically Turtle WoW, is kind of the same thing. I like that you can just be done with the game. You don't have to log in for the Skinner box bullshit. Now, in the case of vanilla WoW, a lot of players have already beaten it because the server's been up for a while. They've already in that stage where they're just kind of hanging out, either doing the mini games, such as helping other new players or guildies, or much like a RuneScape player, fuck it, I want to do it again, and they just make a whole new character and start leveling them and just get right back on the fucking grind. Now, I'm actually going to interrupt myself because as I was speaking, they just announced that their big new patch is coming out in a few days. It's coming out November 1st, as we're recording. They're adding, and this is what's good about Turtle WoW, is it's Vanilla WoW Plus. It adds its own new content. Like, they added a new 40-man raid, and a new profession, and a whole new armor set because they have access to Maya to make their own custom armor, which is really cool. Here, I'll send you a picture. It shows you what some of it looks like for like reference sakes. What I like is that they actually keep the Vanilla WoW art and texture style, so it still looks like shit, which is awesome.
So RuneScape has announced a kind of similar thing. They have Project Zanaris. In old school, they had those leagues where it's like, hey, here's a bunch of little tasks that you can do. Here's power-ups. It's condensing everything about RuneScape into like 2 months. Because of like that, a lot of people like the swamp guy, Swampletics, right? Where he's like, I'm playing RuneScape. I'm stuck in the swamp. I want to beat this end game raid. And he was, he fucking hopped a bridge for what, like 48 hours straight or something?
Yeah.
He had to catch implings to get a rune crossbow, and he did it for like 2,000 hours. Like, they saw that people were doing a bunch of shit like that, and that's why they kind of did like the leagues, where it's like you chose an area of the game, you can't trade with anyone, you've got these boosted drop rates to kind of squish the, everyone gets to play their own Swampletics, right? So they took that a little bit further, and now they're allowing you to host your own custom servers, because they noticed that there's something called Galenor Games, where a dude made a whole fucking like Survivor-esque like challenge series with people on RuneScape. Because RuneScape is designed to allow you to do so much shit, because we've put so many things that can interact with your 13 or 14 skills, right? We're going to make this so everyone can host custom servers. You can join it, you can pay us money for it, and you can make your own custom skills, make your own custom quests, and most importantly, I imagine the porting process for a custom quest into the main game, not very hard. And guess what? People love RuneScape. They will make that shit for free. You don't have to pay people to design these quests, It's such a genius idea, and it's crazy to me that Blizzard is looking at Turtle WoW, probably seething and not seeing the obvious opportunity that they should be doing. It's wild.
Well, how can they monetize that, Tad? You don't make money.
Easily.
No, Tad. You don't make money making fun games. It's bullshit. You have to trick people. You have to scam them into staying. You have to put them in the wheelchair. You have to put them in the little mouse hamster wheel. They have to be in the hamster wheel, Tad. No, they don't like playing the game. Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here. There's no negativity.
Listen, we're
in the
just
dojo.
going to do vanilla WoW on our own servers, and we're going to change nothing, and we're going to add Burning Crusade. It's going to be the exact same problem.
We should add the WoW token to vanilla WoW so people can give us $20 to get more gold.
But
anyway,
Alex,
so
won't
it
that
died.
completely destroy the economy?
Anyway, so vanilla WoW died. It's entirely Blizzard's fault. Like, legitimately, they cannot ever recreate the thing that made them popular, because what made them popular is that it was a fucking video game. Vanilla WoW was... No, seriously, that's it. It was literally a video game, and you gave them a sub so they could continue making more content for that video game. Then it is no longer to make more content. You don't give them money to give them more content. You give them money so that they can scam you out of giving them more money. It's all bullshit. Like,
Alex, what is can you tell me about this $90 mount they just added?
Oh,
which have some interesting properties.
Which one? There's like a billion of those, motherfucker. They'd be like, hey, give us a 6-month subscription up front and you'll get this giant over-the-top pirate ship mount with cannons everywhere. That'll be $8,000.
From what I saw, it would look like a dinosaur. It was gold, it had a bunch of gems on it, and it like had an auction house and a bank inside of it.
Okay, so the long-necked dinosaur is not something you paid for. I don't remember. I think you bought him in-game with gold. They'll have these really expensive mounts in-game to try to burn money out of the economy, like the $2 million spider mount. It's just a spider that's $2 million, 2 million gold, so they can get the rich people to burn 2 million gold. they don't have a RuneScape Grand Exchange thing to help stop inflation. WoW Gold just inflates endlessly.
Yeah, okay, so this is the Brutosaur. It's $90, it's gold, and it lets players check the auction house into mail while riding around on Azeroth via characters Morton and Killia, who sit alongside the beast.
Yeah, this piece of shit. Oh, this is a different one. See, this is the paid one. I thought you meant this one. The other long-to-neck dinosaur mount that has an auction house and a thing on it.
Oh yeah, no, it's that, but so it's not even an original model. It's just that, but gold. Wow, that's really
Tad, they haven't made an original model in 20 years. The last original model they've made was in like Cataclysm when they actually still developed things. They've been recycling models since since Cat. I don't think they've actually made anything new since then.
Is it just because they're addicts? Is that the only reason people play this game?
I love describing WoW to someone who isn't indoctrinated, because it's just like, oh yeah, they haven't made new content since 2012.
What are you doing? Are you just running the same 7 bosses you've done for the 13,000th time
so
for what?
Fun.
For the next update to make your shit worthless? What? Well, I don't get it.
So let me explain. First off, in that image I sent you of the Turtle WoW update, the new boar mount is being rode by Cartman's fucking dwarf character from the South Park episode. I thought that was really cute. But anyway, anyway, so why do people play WoW even though it is very obviously poorly fucking designed beyond vanilla WoW? Like, it literally has just only gotten worse. That is because vanilla WoW itself gave them a taste of a real open world adventure in 2004. There wasn't a game really like it. Like, EverQuest existed, but EverQuest didn't have a quest system. You didn't go on quests. You just kind of
fucked around. Your alternative
was
fucking RuneScape. Are you really gonna play RuneScape? Everyone's gonna think you're gay.
Like, the only thing you played back then was you played EverQuest, which, you were a fucking chud. You played Star Wars Galaxies because you were a fucking chomo. And again, there's nothing to do other than fuck around and dance and like shoot people with a gun. Like, World of Warcraft and RuneScape gave you a world and quests and random things of PvP to do things spontaneously. And that's what actually made it super special. Like, the reason WoW can never, ever, ever be good again is because, well, it's not special anymore. Not only are there a bunch of MMOs, but, like, I don't need to play WoW to get all the things that WoW can offer me. Like, if I want to run around a fantasy world, bro, there's a billion fucking like fantasy fucking like there's a bunch of Dark Souls clones where I can run around a fantasy fucking world and shit and just kill people randomly, right? I want a fucking a community, bro. Like, that's what Discord is. Like Discord just replaced the MMO community because like every single player product can effectively become a community if you try hard enough, right? Like, I can turn like Fortnite into a community based thing and hang out and talk about like fucking the silly Fortnite lore or something, right? Or show off my skins. I don't need the prestige of a fancy mount or the grind of an MMO. I can just get the same kind of dopamine receivers elsewhere. And Blizzard themselves can never recapture what made it special, because what made WoW special was that, one, it came out at a time where it was a one-of-a-kind thing, but also it was a video game. Every aspect of the world, the leveling, the quests, all interlocked and made a unique experience. Now, they just know how to try to fucking scam you out of a fucking theme park like they're a fucking carnival company. They don't get it, and they'll never get it. They literally cannot comprehend or compute, because everyone who made this game, nobody works at Blizzard anymore that like fucking used to work there before, except for one of the artists, Samwise. Literally everyone who made Vanilla WoW is gone. They left. They're out of here. Bye-bye. Adios. It's over. It's like, all you have now are these like interns who've played like Cataclysm or Pandaria WoW, who just know the theme park fucking scam experience and just keep filtering it and making it worse and worse and worse. It will die, and it has no one to blame but itself. But another big thing is that WoW never really adapted and changed with the times. Now, that game engine is from 1999. I already mentioned before, but I'll reiterate for people who weren't there. The game itself literally cannot handle itself anymore. It's 20 years old in November. That's old. That's really fucking old. That's like, dude, imagine actually trying to keep a game engine from 1999 still updated with modern graphics and modern like numbers and shit.
That is straight up 25 years ago.
Yes. So, like, when they made a boss fight called Garrosh Hellscream, Mist of Pandaria, you guys who did this raid might know this, because I did this raid. You'll fight Garrosh, you'll go like, ooh, you're pretty good. I'm gonna need to try a little harder. He'll throw his axe in the air, hit a big, like, evil heart. I'm not gonna explain the fucking lore, right? Just roll with me here. He'll hit the big evil heart, douse himself in, like, all the goop, and then he'll change forms, and his health bar will refill. So he'll get to, like, say he has 200 million health, he'll get to 100 million, then get back to 200 million, then jump to, like, 30 million, get another boost of another 50 million health, and then you finally drain that health bar and he dies. Why did he do that? Because they literally couldn't give him 400 million HP because the game would just crash. The game literally cannot go that high in numbers because the game engine is from 1999. It's not supposed to go that high.
1999, that would have been like the fucking... The N64 would have been brand spanking new.
Yes. WoW Vanilla Null. Let me go get the Vanilla Null model to see like know what he looks like.
Give me the rat. I want to see the WoW rat. That's 4 polygons.
Oh, WoW Vanilla Rat. I was gonna just get an example of what the game used to look like.
The RuneScape rat has more polygons than the World of Warcraft rat.
But like, oh wait, hold on, this is a better picture of him.
Thank you.
Now you might be. So
is
what I'm
there
trying to get
anything that the MMO format can offer that other things can't?
So this is what I really want to get to. Is the exact format of you go in through explore a world, meet other players, either PvP, do quests, get rewards, and like get stronger and explore and shit, right? Those are all the core tenets of what make an MMO special. The player's growth, the sense of exploration, and the sense of community. Those 3 things are what make it special. Now, WoW doesn't want to do any of those anymore. But can any MMO do them anymore? Well, no. I'm going to just tell you straight up, no. No. And this is what I really want to get to, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it last episode, is that I genuinely think the MMO is a failed genre. Because it literally cannot actually be what it wants to be, because it wants to be this ever-generating world. Well, that costs money. You can't just make an infinitely generating world, Tad. Like, I'm not a child. That costs a lot of money, a lot of manpower to constantly program shit and bug test and, like, make models and shit, right? Like,
and so how do you keep people paying you money? They have to have some kind of repeatable content while you're making new shit.
Yes.
Really, like, for what an MMO offers, I agree. Community was one, because now you can access in different ways. About the only thing MMOs could still offer that other games can sort of is it'll have absurd amounts of content. But look at like Rust, live service games, all these different things, right? The amount of shit that's in Don't Starve now compared to when I played it, I don't know, like 6 years ago, it's an absurd amount. But that's also not an MMO. That's a game that you can buy on Steam. And like they were able to do that because they kept their scale lower. And does it suffer from that? Not really. Like these kind of like survival crafting games, I think fill in that niche pretty well because it's got absurd amounts of content. There's kind of like what's that fucking game where you're underwater? Subnautica. Subnautica's got an absurd amount of shit. Stardew Valley, a crazy fucking Terraria. Terraria probably has more actual content to do than World of Warcraft, and it costs $25. Right? And you can play it with multiple people if you wanted to. Fucking Minecraft.
No, seriously, no. Minecraft's a really good example because Minecraft, though you have to join servers in Minecraft, but like you play online Minecraft, you can get the like adventure and community aspect. Like, there's no quest in Minecraft. There's no like NPCs that like you talk to and shit. But you get 2 out of the 3. Plus, you can build whatever the fuck you want, which is like its own unique thing, right? You can effectively get like the good stuff you can get out of an MMO in that. Or I talked about like the Souls games, right? You know how the multiplayer in that game works, right?
Yeah.
Like I can get a community feeling from even Dark Souls 1. When I go through the world, it is a single player game, but I see the phantoms run around, right? I see a guy like walk through a bunch of barrels. I see a guy like die. I see a guy light a bonfire. I know that I'm not doing this journey alone, right? I can already feel that kind of like sense of adventure and like camaraderie immediately without even talking to somebody, right? I get that exact like one of those 3 things immediately right there. Now let's get Elden Ring. Have you seen the Elden Ring seamless co-op mod?
I have not. In fact, I still haven't played Elden Ring.
Well, you're missing out actually. But like with the seamless co-op mod, it is exactly what it sounds like. I put in a little code and I just immediately connect to anybody like that. Seamlessly. There's no loading screens, no summoning, no level ranges or whatever. I just immediately hop into their world. And Effectively what people will do is they'll just type in the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 as their password, and basically just randomly just go in each other's worlds and just hang out and do shit. So I can hop into Jerry's world and like I can go hello with the little hello toy, wave at him, give him the little like MMO experience of like communicating via jumping, and then we can go fucking go kill some shit, help him kill a boss. And if I get bored of him, I can go help over and help Jerry or Johnny, and I can just do all this shit. I can get that MMO experience of helping players out throughout this big, massive world in that kind of cool combat system that isn't locked to, say, World of Warcraft's combat.
Yeah.
But like
technology has progressed to the point where we can handle stuff like that. Dev tools are more accessible now. People are fine with having a 2D world like Terraria. That doesn't really fucking matter. It can look like Minecraft and no one really gives a shit. It doesn't have to be this giant epic journey, because I think people realized, yeah, I would rather have things to do than to have, some more ugly ass models to stare at.
Yeah. And what's really important too that I really wanted to say is through all of this, through all of the things that the MMOs being like a failed genre now, like they're just not useful anymore. They're dead now. There's no reason for this game to exist the way that like communities and games have evolved. But another thing that I really wanted to add that people might not like to hear, considering how much I talk about how much I like WoW, but like I have to say it. I have to call it the way it is. But like, guys, does it really matter that WoW has a lot of people playing it? No, let me explain. What do I mean by this? Does it actually matter that I go into Orgrimmar and I see 1,000 people I don't know? Does it actually matter? Because all that really matters is that I have to feel like the game is populated. Like, I care more when the random warlock I ran past in Thousand Needles when I was killing water elementals to get the fucking fireweed to get to Magatha. When I was doing that, he ran by, he casted water breathing on me, so I had to go up and down to go get air. He just gave me water breathing for free. That was really nice of him to do that, right? But that guy, that random warlock, is way more important to me than the 50,000 people bank standing in Orgrimmar, right? So this is what I'm trying to say here, is that like, when I'm hanging out in Elden Ring's co-op mod, and I'm just, I'm hitting up the tower of whatever the fuck, the fucking, the Hornset
Your direct
Tower.
interactions with people are what is actually entertaining. It's not fun to see a bunch of character models awkwardly walking around a giant empty MMO room.
Yeah.
There's nothing you're actually getting out of that.
Yeah. So like, all that matters is that it feels like there's a lot of people. Like I mentioned the Dark Souls ghosts. I don't need to, like, I only see 5 ghosts, but I see them doing the journey with me, which gives me a different sense. Like, again, they are coming along with me through my adventure as opposed to just them standing around getting money off the auction house, right? They are more dynamic, right? Or when I go to Johnny and I help him, that's more dynamic. Johnny probably remembers me better than he remembers any random guy he met in WoW, right?
So is there anything that the MMO genre can do? Is there any other like thing that these people haven't thought of? Because I think we've pretty solidly said like, they're pretty fucked. Like the MMOs that are popular right now are going to continue for a while. They're going to eventually die off, and that's not a genre that's going to come back. So is there anything that they can do to improve or to address these problems in a reasonable way? So
the old way of either the sandbox is probably never going to happen again. Just because if you want a sandbox, just go play fucking Minecraft, dude. It's right fucking there, right? It's $10, right? There's no reason to make it. There's no reason to drop, $50 million to make like Minecraft with less features. There's no reason to make a sandbox MMO. That is literally a solved genre. It's done, right? Now to the more questing, adventure-y kind of MMO, that can't survive anymore either. Because while World of Warcraft was the most popular it ever was when it made vanilla WoW, it eventually died because, again, you need to make money off of it. You are naturally going to ruin your own product in order to make it profitable, because in order to keep everyone still developing the game, or even if you don't want to like make new content, just keep bug fixing it every now and then, right? And manage the servers, that still costs money. And if everyone just paid an upfront cost to play it, well, then it would just eventually run out and burn out and die. It doesn't host its own servers like, say, Team Fortress 2 does or something. So, like, that I also think is never going to be successful either, because that will naturally just corrupt itself. Now, the theme park MMO, which is what WoW kind of became, and what Final Fantasy XIV is, unfortunately, that is the only way I can actually see it going forward. Now, Final Fantasy XIV, the way it works is that you are the main character, and you're mostly single player, and you're kind of going through like a theme park thing, and I didn't like it. I've already bitched about it. I'm not going to bitch about it again. But, once again, why is that an MMO, though? Because what you're effectively playing is a single-player adventure game with shitty MMO combat and shitty MMO enemies just placed everywhere haphazardly. You're essentially playing an RPG title with online features that's just shittier designed than another one, so you can occasionally hang out with people in the capital city. It's just not the same. I genuinely do not think that the MMO genre is ever going to be good again, because even though WoW has lost its number one title, Final Fantasy XIV is now the number one MMO. Final Fantasy XIV at its peak, which is it is now the number one sub-based MMO. That's 2.5 million players. WoW at its peak was 12 million. Like the genre
was.
Yeah, and that, by the way, that was Final Fantasy XIV at its peak. I actually looked at the numbers recently. WoW had
fucking wonder why there's so many ripoffs. Imagine trying to explain to a board of suits that the game that's making how much is it was like $15?
$15 a month, adjusted for inflation in 2008, by the way.
So 12 times 15. So that's $180 million a month. Imagine trying to explain to them that this is a bad idea. That's not going to work.
Yeah,
they're never going to believe you.
Yeah, of course. That's why there was all those MMOs they listed at the start of this episode. They all wanted a piece of that pie.
I think about the only MMO. RuneScape has certain advantages, but I don't think RuneScape's going to be around forever. RuneScape has the huge advantage of being able to. You can do everything in RuneScape on your fucking phone, right? You can do it. You can be very intense. You can do raids, or you can catch lobsters. You have total choice and freedom, and pretty much the only thing that RuneScape is doing that's having to cost them is paying more money to get more additional content, right? But at a certain point, like, it's kind of fucking, like, you got enough, you know? Mm-hmm. At that point, then you start adding new skills, you start doing, like, stuff, it gets bloated, and people are like, I don't want to do all that shit, and then you stop. So, it's, MMOs are dead. It was it's an interesting 20-year snapshot of technology. It's dead in the same way that putting quarters in a machine to play Pac-Man for, 15 minutes, that's also dead. The only way you're doing that is if you're doing it for the retro sensation and the idea you're at a bar and a barcade, right? You can go there and you can buy a $15 drink and play Pac-Man for 10 minutes before getting bored.
Yeah.
It's done. The
only future
celebrate
I could
it.
possibly see.
It's all right.
Yeah, the only thing I could ever see, if you ever want that experience, is just like someone to cash in on the seamless co-op mod of Elden Ring, just basically make that, but without needing it to be a fucking janky mod. Like, make that game, but all of the time. Like a drop-in, drop-out fantasy action game. That will be the actual next big thing. Because that will basically hit every single thing without needing to spend $80,000 billion to develop it to make effectively a subpar clone of another game from 2004. Yeah.
So I guess that's the final say there. You know, MMOs were a very interesting experiment. I remember as a kid I remember being blown away when there was that raid you had to jump at and WoW. And I was like, whoa, that's like a real video game. I can't wait
until there's a video game
that has that many people in it. And then it just kind of never happened because no one could figure it out. And maybe there is an opportunity, but who's that? The cost to do it is so fucking high, it ain't going to happen. Right? It's no one's going to put up that much money for it to fail. And to experiment. You can't experiment with a game like this. It costs so much money. If you make an expansion that tries something new and it fails, you're fucked, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you stick with what works. You keep doing that. The genre stagnates. No one ever develops it. Game over. Simple as. We'll find there's going to be some other fucking, like, genres come up in games all the time. Fucking roguelike deck builder. That's a whole ass genre now. Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2 brought, physics puzzlers. That's a whole ass genre of games. You got like the fucking goat game, that brought in like fuck around sandbox games. Like, things happen and things fade out. It's not the end of the world. MMOs had their own unique run. They had a really tight grip until people realized it fucking sucks and it sucking fucks, to quote the angry video game nerd. The second video game crash is about to fucking happen, dude. We got like maybe a couple years before we're about to see a huge turnover in the industry.
They're already firing people like crazy. Like legitimately, video games are super fucked right now. No one wants to make anything. That is 1,000% true.
So my recommendation, start reading some 70s sci-fi. I've been really into Harlan Ellison's Dangerous Visions. I've actually been having more fun reading those on my phone at my old job than I was playing most modern games. Video games stinky. Video games smelly. Video games, I'll keep playing ROM hacks of Ocarina of Time. I'm getting more out of those than I am from your $70 slot. So that's all I got to say.
My final message is it's time to let go.
It's Jover.
Yeah, it's so over. In fact, it never even began.
Actually, you know what did begin though?
This podcast, you say the lines, funny man.
You can find the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Oh man, what was the other one? I was looking at the YouTube analytics. There was another one. Podcast Addict. That was the other one. Twitter in the description, Discord in the description, Patreon, etc., etc. It was a fun episode. It was interesting to learn how World of Warcraft has managed to survive despite everything. I was really surprised. The more you kept telling me, I was expecting you to tell me, like, yeah, they got like 5 people playing this game now.
Current numbers. Last people checked was at least 400,000. You know, back from when it used to be 12 million. That's interesting. I'm sure the game's doing great.
Yikes. All right, that's it, fellas. 400,000. Hope you have a good day.